All right, we are live. We are live. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for this very special episode of Create Your Future Self. I am your co-host, Laquita Monley, and my partner there, Mr. Victor Johnson. We have a very special team with us on today. They are very special guests, Miss Ebony Jackson Todd and Miss Shinia Lambert of Jackson Todd and Lambert firm here in Killeen, Texas. And these lovely ladies have agreed to come on live with us today and share something that's very important. We've always talked about the necessity of having a power team in place when you're a business owner and who those key power team members are. And today, the Jackson Todd and Lambert law firm represent key members of any business owner's power team, which is their legal team, their legal counsel. As entrepreneurs, it is imperative that we have legal counsel. And these ladies are going to share with us some things just to emphasize the necessity of having legal counsel on your team, the do's, the don'ts, what we need to know. And we're just really, really glad that they agreed to join us on today.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We're so grateful.
No problem, no problem. Vic, what's going on there in Carlton while we try to get our watch party set up? So what we usually do to enhance the number of viewers that we get to see, we have our broadcast going across Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, and Periscope. And we also like to share watch parties on some of the various other platforms that we have. So what we'll do in just these first few moments while we give people a chance to come in, I see different people coming in across Facebook and Periscope. Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. I see we even have some guests coming in there from the UK. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate the love and support that you all give us each Monday evening. I know normally we meet at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, but today we do have this special showing today at 11 with our very special guests, and we want to be able to maximize the time that we have with them. So guys, as you're joining in, let us know where you're joining from. Please put your questions out there, put your comments out there, join this conversation. This is a great time to pick their brains and to learn information that you've had questions about but didn't quite know where to go to find those answers. So guys, thank you so much for coming in on today.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Laquita. It's been a pleasure. Normally we're here at 6 p.m. on Monday evenings. We'll still be here tonight, but wanted to jump in and talk to Jackson Todd and Lambert. I know these are wonderful attorneys. Not only that, but I love seeing Black women in powerful positions. So kudos to these Black women.
That's like to see strong Black women.
Yes, that's right. That's right. One of my favorite things to do is support Black women. So I love that you guys are doing that. And not only that, I noticed that obviously you're legal attorneys, you understand law, but I've noticed from looking at some of the activity you do in Killeen, you're very heavily involved with economic development. So maybe we could talk a little bit about some of those things now and how COVID-19 is impacting work environments, business environments, a little bit of all that. But enough about what we do here. We'll let you introduce yourselves, ladies, and tell us a little bit about how long you've been in business, and let's dig into it.
All right. Well, I'm Ebony Todd. I'm a former JAG officer in the United States Army. I am an attorney, obviously one of two parts of Jackson Todd and Lambert, where we practice business, church, and nonprofit primarily. We also practice a couple of extra things like estate planning and a little bit of family law, but we try to focus on small businesses and churches. And we have learned that law is our ministry. So we take it to the streets. We are very involved in our community in the way that I'm a part of many boards. I'm a part of this. I've been appointed by the governor for a state board. I am on a local Killeen clinic board. I'm a co-founder of the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce here, and on that board as well. I take it very serious being committed to the community and being involved. I'm also a part of Rotary International. I don't want to go on and on and on, but for the most part, the biggest thing that has happened in my life here lately has been my appointment as the first Black judge of Nolanville, Texas, the municipal court judge. I'm very grateful for it. I was just telling someone else, I'm pretty sure I'm the youngest ever, but they don't know because when you look at me, you think that I'm older than I am. I'm 33 years old. Let the record reflect, I am 33. People always like I don't know why, but I say all that to say, I've been in practice now for 2 years on my own. After I got out of the military, I came upon this beautiful human being who was practicing well. She came across like she loved what she did, but also that she loved people and loved God. And I talked to her about church law one day while at the Office of the Attorney General's court date, and we hit it off immediately. And Shy will tell you she's more introverted than I am. I'm very much like in your face, like, hey, how you doing? And she's very much like, why are you in my face? So the fact that we got along, I love her side of the story better than my side, because she talks about like going home and telling her mom, like, I actually like somebody. So we hit it off immediately, and we were just grateful to God, and we talked about joining forces. Like, I on the spot was like, would you like to join me? I'm practicing church law. I would love for you to join me. And she was like, she had made, first of all, let me say, this is a hot commodity over here in this area, because I found out later on that many people had offered Shy a position at their law firms, and they were asking her to be a partner with her. So don't get it twisted. This right here, she's special. But she kept saying no, and that always makes my head like, it's hard to fit through there. When I think about that, she selected me and let down her guard and was like, vulnerable and everything with me. So I don't take it for granted, and I'm grateful to her for being my partner. And we've been partners now. It'll be a year in June, and officially in June, on June 1st. And we love each other, and we try to keep peace and joy in these office spaces. We pray over this space. We pray with each other daily. I'm just very, very blessed. We are very, very blessed. So, yeah, that's pretty much my side of the story.
Yeah. So when I met Ebony, I was working for the Office of the Attorney General. I had been there, I think, almost 6 years at that point. Had always been an attorney for the state, but I worked for the Texas Workforce Commission, State Office of Appeals, as an administrative law judge for a little bit. So, well, 5 years, I guess it's not a little bit. And so I had already been kind of looking for an out, right? Had been praying about an out. But like I said, when people were approaching me, I just did not feel that connection. And so we had kind of just exchanged glances, made comments on each other's like hair and outfits, like randomly, nothing. And then one day we actually got to talk, and I could just sense the sincerity in her spirit. And I remember talking to my mom that night, because I am an introvert. I don't connect easily to people. And I was like, I met this lady, and like, I like her. Like, I really like her.
Did you say lady?
Well, lady, I mean, like, when you say, I want to say girl. Woman. If I say woman, that sounds like something else. So anyway, so we met, and we had dinner, and we agreed to fast and pray about what God wanted us to do. That was really important to us. We didn't want to make a decision based off feeling, because it was a huge leap of faith. It's one of the things that we would encourage even any businesses we represent. When you're about to take a huge step out, you got to do it based on more than just your feelings, right? You have to be sure that it's the next best step for you, not to just go with trends or what feels good at the time. So we made that decision to partner together. It was a sacrifice for both of us. I was blessed that she entrusted her business to me. And that she entrusted me with her trade secrets, if you will, and everything that she had built up on her own. And so we have almost been together a year now. We've become like family, I would say. Our boys are basically brothers. And it has just been a wonderful opportunity. We have grown, I think. We challenge each other. Our strengths and weaknesses complement one another. And I think, helps us better serve our businesses because of it. So.
Awesome. Well, we are definitely glad that you guys met, took that time to fast and pray, and to create the Jackson Todd Lambert firm. I know the Central Texas community as a whole is blessed by that, because I heard about you guys through a really good friend of mine who is also my pastor. And once I got a chance to meet you and sit down and talk to us, like, you know what, this is great. And so I know that the Central Texas community, and especially Killeen, Belton, Harker Heights, Temple, Nollaville, all of our surrounding area, definitely understand and know the value that you two is like the power twins, right? That you guys bring together for this community. And to be able to, because just, honestly, as minority business leaders and with minority businesses, whether you're female, African American, any ethnicity that's considered minority, a lot of the times there's a great deal of fear when it comes to sitting, speaking, or even making that first step to make an appointment to discuss your legal needs. And when you talk to you guys, any fear, reservation that you have is just totally out the window. Your customer service is excellent. You know, you make everyone that comes in feel valued, and I know that brings a lot of value to the table, because knowing you need legal counsel, but then not quite knowing how to express what you need, or I just know I need an attorney, but I don't even know why I need you. I know that from my first visit, you guys shed so much light on why I needed you. I knew I needed you for A, B, and C, but then after having that conversation, I was like, I didn't know all the rest of that. And so that's very beneficial. So, you know, for those of you guys that are just now joining us, thank you so much for coming onto this very special episode of Create Your Future Self Live. We have Miss Ebony Jackson Todd and Miss Shinia Lambert of the Jackson Todd Lambert Law Firm here in Killeen, Texas, and they're going to be sharing some very valuable information with us on today. We see that we have viewers here coming in on both Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. Thank you guys for joining. Please feel free to jump in this conversation, add your comments and your feedback. We'll be more than happy to address those during this feed. And for those that are watching, please like and share this broadcast. Like and share this broadcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share the Periscope. Share the Facebook. Let's get the information out. People should be on their lunch hour. Jump on this live and ask the questions that you've been wanting to ask an attorney. We have two powerful attorneys on here today, and let's pick their brains and make the most of this opportunity.
Absolutely. So I have a quick question. So you all mentioned that you specialize in the church space. So you're representing churches, I guess. Is that a safe statement to say that you're representing churches and congregations? Okay. So right now, are you seeing the majority of your clients, meaning the churches that you represent, have they stopped doing physical meeting and congregating on Sundays or Wednesdays and whatever days they're gathering? And are you guiding them to communicate anything to, or is there an obligation for them to communicate anything to the public if they decide to not have a physical congregation and that type of thing? I hope that makes sense.
No, that's a perfect question. Thank you. So legally, churches fall within the exception still where they're allowed to congregate, at least here in Texas. The guidance is that you still want to do your social distancing right in 10 or fewer. Well, most congregations hopefully are going to have more than 10 congregants. And so what we would advise our clients is to comply with the guidelines that are out. I mean, we can't tell them that you can't meet, right? Because the law says that they can, but the safe practice, the best practice would be if you have the ability to live stream, if you have the ability to do something on a live platform, to do that, it keeps your leadership safe, it keeps your congregants safe, and you don't have to worry about later there being some greater issue that you have to address. And so it's one of those things where you have to choose between what's legally acceptable and what your best practices are. We're a law firm that encourages best practice, right? People say.
And there are a lot of things that's changing daily. We know with COVID-19, especially like Bell County judge has already put out information, or he has already put out a standard. Mm-hmm. And the standard is, you know, everybody's going to quarantine in place, basically. So with that being said, you know, they should not have church. There should not be church right now. That's the bottom line. And what we've been seeing, the pattern we saw in this Sunday, you know, yesterday, my kids and I were streaming on my cell phone church, and Destiny Rural Outreach Center had church, and I could tell my pastor was in there alone. Mm-hmm. Even though he was everybody say amen. He knew he was feeling us through that video. And it was very passionate. I was like, how did he keep that passion alone? And,
y'all not cheering as loud as I'm preaching. I
almost felt more passion from him without us there. I was like, probably, yeah, that's a good point. But anyway, I think that should be the standard, and it's so easy. Use your resources, churches out there. If you don't know how to do it, that's okay. You know, YouTube it, Google it. Somebody can help you stream. Do not have church right now. It's safer to stay at home and keep your congregants at home. That was one of the first. That was one of the first things they did, was pointed at the church in China when it started spreading. If y'all remember when it started spreading, they said, "Oh, well, so many members of this church had it." So we want to keep it safe. Be careful out there.
Okay, appreciate that.
Yeah, I know our services have been many churches were already broadcasting via Facebook and different other social media platforms. So it wasn't a big transition to have to go in to do that. I know even our pastor, our regular service there at BBM was already broadcast on Facebook for our Sunday services and for our Wednesday services. And now he even, to give the congregants more word throughout the week, he does a weekly power talk or a daily power talk. And so we get a text message notification that says, okay, come on for power talk. And it's usually around the lunch hour, sometime in that lunch hour. And that's a great thing for us to receive that encouragement that we need, that extra dose of the word, especially during these uncertain times where a lot of people found safety and comfort with coming into the sanctuary, because it's not really a healthy thing to do right now. Having the ability to still have that access is great. So I know a lot of churches here in our area are doing the online services, which is great.
I would like to add that the Department of Health and Safety is putting out information on a regular basis. They have signage that churches can put in their buildings. We recommend that even when this is over and we start having congregations again, you want to make sure that you're posting up what the standard is in your community. So not only would I advise, at least in Texas, to go with the Department of Health and Safety, but also go to your local government's website and find out what they're putting out, so that way you can be the source of the information. That's what the church used to be back in the day. You went to church to find out stuff. And so I would love for us to use this opportunity as a church, as the body of believers, to be the source of the best information, the latest and greatest, and stop being the people that say, well, I don't know, go figure it out your own. Like, let's have what the standard is on our doors, in our bathrooms. You see it every day when you go to a restaurant where it says, employees, wash your hands. Don't just tell your employees, tell that child. Everybody, wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Stop being nasty. So, but no, we really need to give out as much information as possible now.
And it's really a time for churches or businesses in general to get creative. I mean, if you did not already have the ability to live stream, now is the time to learn how to do it. I mean, we don't want to just hunker down during COVID. We don't know what the future holds. And this could be an opportunity for your church to go to the next level, or your business to go to the next level, which will profit you when all of this is over, right? This is the time to invest and reinvest into your business, because businesses get lazy, right? Churches get lazy. And this is kind of shaking a lot of businesses up to say, what do we need to do to kind of keep up with the times?
Yeah, you hear people say this is like an extra spring break. No, but this is time to learn.
Yeah.
That's something that Vic and I have been stressing over the last several weeks, that this time of self-quarantine, and for those of us in the Bill County area, shelter in place, this is the best time to improve yourself, like our show, yourself. Everything that you've been putting off because there was no time to do it because of work and all the other things. Now we've been blessed with that commodity of time. Like, time is that one commodity that you get back. Once it's gone, it's gone. So making the best use of the time that we have now that we're sheltering in place to improve yourself and to improve your business. So I think I absolutely agree with you guys on that. In terms of COVID-19, is there relevant, or you were making comments about it there on our government website for businesses, is there communications or circulations, or is there any legal reasons that we should be sending out emails or making postings if you have a brick and mortar business as it relates to COVID-19 to our clients, our employees, our staff, whatever we have as business owners? Should we be making those notifications on a regular basis?
Okay, when it comes to your employees, there are some standard, there's some standard information you're supposed to give to your employees, in particular about like FMLA. When we're talking about family medical leave, you want to make sure that your employees know what's going on. That's normally in accordance with your employee handbook, as well as the acts, the different statutes. We know we have the Family First Coronavirus Act that came out, and it's effective in April. We have other acts that are in the working, and I won't lie, like we are not going to be experts on it because it's still changing. The Congress is still making things every day, writing bills and passing them. So with that, not every single day, but you know what I mean? Like things are changing rapidly.
That's a very fluid situation.
Yes, absolutely. So with that being said, I wouldn't turn to Facebook to get your information at a time like this. It's time to tap into your local government and find out what they're doing. Colleen has their own website. Sometimes it's not even up to date. I remember when we had to shelter in place, the first thing I did when somebody told me, oh, on Facebook, they said we have to shelter in place, I said, oh, well, let me go look at this Colleen website, and it hadn't changed yet. So I say don't go to Facebook to get your news, but what I mean is once you get it from there, go ahead and confirm it. So then, so that Colleen has a 254 number. I know I keep saying Colleen because I want to make it clear that different governments have different things going on. We have a phone number that we can call, an emergency line just for the coronavirus. And I was able to call them and say, hey, I want to confirm as an attorney, can I still go to my office without getting a ticket? You know, what's going on? So I think it's important that that we just find out our resources for our community. And as far as the statutes are concerned, we can be rest assured if we tell our employees about the FMLA, how it applies to them with this coronavirus. There has been plenty of good changes. And I don't know if you want to get on some of them. We talked about them in another podcast that we recently did, but some of the changes are talking about if you go home to take care of your child, which is a great thing because it's not because of medical issues. It's just because your child can't go to school that you have to go home. And then the statute talks about how long you go without paid leave. And then after 10 days, then you have paid leave for how long? For 8 weeks or what have you. So it's very detailed oriented. It doesn't cover everything, but employers, this is when we need to tap into our resources. If you have specific questions about your employees, okay, I have a part-time employee. Do I really have to do this? Well, yes, you very well might. It depends on how many employees you have in total. It depends on a lot of different issues. It depends on if it would put you in a financial bind where you would end up losing your company if you were paying your employees. I definitely recommend that if you are in Texas that you can give our office a call. We would definitely welcome your calls to advise you on your separate situations. But in general, the answer is yes, there is information you should be giving as an employee. As far as, from employer to employee. As far as for clients or customers, I don't think that the responsibility is as clear or require. It's not a requirement, but I do want to make it clear that ethically, we always advise our clients to be open and honest about things. I think the best example right now is with landlord-tenant law. So right now, landlords cannot evict residential tenants. You don't want, as a landlord, to go to your resident. I mean, I say right now, the act is not official, but once it starts, you don't want to go to your residential tenant and say, "I'm sorry, you don't have to pay rent this month." That's not at all helpful. As a business person, we don't want to tell them all that. But there's some people right now going to watch this and be like, "Oh, Ebony said that I want to pay my rent."
Don't say that. Don't be telling people that.
The tenants are all over that. They're all over that.
Right, but evictions are not happening right now because the courts are closed. So it makes sense that they're not going to be able to go to court, at least in Texas, y'all. Again, this is Texas. You're not going to be able to go to court and evict someone during the month of April, May. It may go into June, July. We don't know. So, So I guess my answer in culmination is it depends on who the audience is, on what responsibility you have as a business owner, as a church leader, on what information you have to give. And we welcome you to call us at 254-833-8000 to learn more.
Yeah, I would definitely just
want to make sure that you put that phone number out in the comments. And this is again another great reason why having an attorney, a firm as a part of your power team, because I was with my daughter at Darnell. My daughter's pregnant, and I was with her at Darnell when that order came out, when the shelter-in-place order came out, and I saw I have notifications on so many news channels now, like more than ever before, and I actually was watching the broadcast when the shelter-in-place order came out from the emergency management system, and so I knew it, and I stepped outside to ask the nurses because she had another follow-on appointment, and I wanted to know how that was going to work. So it's important that we don't go to Facebook, but at the same time, because we have social media, make sure you get notifications from reliable sources to get your information, and then be able to have a source like your legal counsel to say, okay, I heard this. How does it apply to me? Does it apply to me? What do I need to do? And in order to do that, you have to have legal counsel on your team. You have to have someone who knows what they're talking about, or knows how to find out the truth of the matter, instead of, your Facebook lawyer,
right.
Social media lawyer, your what's some of those legal Zoom and different things. Not that those things aren't great, but you need somebody who's actually able to give you hard facts, and that can be helpful to you. So guys, give me that phone number again where they can reach out to you.
254-833-8000.
Awesome.
So you mentioned something.
Yeah.
You mentioned something very interesting. Obviously, I would think all courts are probably closed right now. So that means even regular civil matters, small claim courts, issues, like all of that is on hold right now, I would suspect. So what are your views, or what do you think is going to happen when things get lifted? All of a sudden, things are back in order. I mean, is this going to be complete chaos in the court system? There are people that are fighting to get out of jail, or lawsuits what does all that kind of look like in your forums when you're talking to other attorneys? How are you preparing yourself for that, and what can you guide your clients to do while they're waiting for the courts to open back up?
So it's a little bit of a transition for us. We've never seen anything like this before, right? So it's a little bit new. The courts are basically closed to anything that is a non-emergency. So if we're talking about removing a child that's in an abusive situation, or a temporary restraining order, the court is still taking up those things because that's just human decency, right? It's ethical. It's what's in the best interest of a child. But for things like, let's say you really want to get divorced right now, right? Those things are on hold. And so on my family law side, I have several cases that are waiting, like they're ready to be done. And there's nothing we can do, right? And so
now that was somebody 2020 goal. They can't even accomplish 2020 goal.
And they have summertime, like ready to go, right? And
After they divorce, right? Like they was like, they say we're going to court. I'm getting married 5 days.
They were working on their summertime fine body and like trusting in the streets. And now, no, you're still married. So it's just attorneys are talking about, like, what is this going to look like? Because all the cases that were set, those are the ones that will come first. Things that haven't even been set yet will be pushed off. I know I got an email yesterday that said, hey, your hearing that was set for April 1st is now canceled. When will your client be available? Sometime in July or August. Well, that's way later than they're expecting. And so it does cause, COVID has affected, I think, more systems than we even thought possible. When you think of the custodial parent that was waiting to get child support or something of that nature, and now everything's on hold. They don't have a job, perhaps. They don't have any financial resources, and they don't know when or if they can return to work, right? So it affects so much more than just the convenience for us as attorneys to be able to go to court. I think we're more mindful of the people that it affects, that we're blessed to have a small business where we can decide if and when we'll come into the office, and we have the ability to bring our kids to work if we need to, and we're mindful that not everybody has that option. And so in a time where, yeah, it could turn to utter chaos, we hope to bring some peace to the storm, at least for our clients, and to be able to, in our community, and hopefully be able to, again, help ease some of it by answering questions and being available when needed.
And we brought up evictions with residential wise. I like to say for businesses, even though the statute doesn't directly apply to business or commercial leases, because of the delay in the court proceedings, it's the same. It might as well say it, because you're not going to be able to evict anyone right now while we don't have court. The court is not going to find that an emergency of sorts. Now, whether or not you can lock doors, do this and that is a totally separate discussion. In the event you lock somebody's door, you have to know that you're also saying, I am not allowing you to do any work at all during this period of time to even try to give me rent. So it's a double-edged sword right now. COVID-19 has definitely put a wrench in a lot of systems. And yeah, I just wanted to bring up that bit of eviction talk, because I forgot to address it earlier. But I think that it's been really hard for all types of court cases, not just anyone certain.
Not just anyone certain. We have a question here from one of our viewers from YouTube. This viewer says that they have a live sound engineering company, and they set up all of the audio equipment for events, for example, say a concert with up to 5,000 people. The question is, do you recommend a specific type of insurance that would cover the company for a lawsuit? Say, for example, if some of the equipment was to fall or hurt someone, or the truck transporting the equipment got into an accident or damage, etc. Do you have a recommendation on a specific type of insurance that a company like that should have?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. I know, we always like.
When it comes to whatever industry you're in, you want the type of insurance that corresponds with your industry, right? And so you would get that basic kind of insurance, and then, for example, like we have malpractice insurance and things of that nature. But a lot of what they're talking about there could be alleviated with a really good contract, to say who would be liable in the event that these certain events would happen. So
that's a great point. So I think there's two things. There's professional liability insurance, like she was saying. There's business insurance. Like we have insurance through State Farm for our business here. And so if anybody comes in here and trips, they're not going to be able to sue us. We're not going to use our malpractice insurance for their trip and fall, right? So we're going to have to use our business insurance that covers that. And in the event, this person, the sound engineering company owner has an issue with the truck. They also need, of course, automobile insurance. I think it said truck too, right? The company vehicle. Yeah. I was trying to read the question. If the company vehicle is in an accident of some sort, they need to have company vehicle insurance for that, business insurance, and then what Ms. Lambert is talking about is spot on. So if you're working with a concert, you can always share that liability, or try to have that liability put on the concert, or the people that are putting the concert on. And what that looks like depends. It can be an indemnification clause where you say, if somebody sues me, concert person, you have to pay me back for what they sued me for. So I say concert person because it might be the promoter, it might be the venue, it just depends. Right, so I think the venue might be the safer route to get some type of contract with the venue, but sometimes the venue is very disconnected. The promoter is the one that's, orchestrating everything. So with that being said, it depends on who you're working with, but I agree with my business partner that some of that can be alleviated by making sure that you put something in writing with the people that you're involved in contracted with.
Oh, wonderful. I think that was an excellent question. And again, that question speaks to the necessity of having legal counsel on your team, because we have so many different resources that we can go to online and get blanket contracts and this, that, or the other, which if you like, for myself, I want to save money, so I go and get these contracts, but then the contracts are not specific enough for my needs. And if that's something that happens, you can't plan for that. Like, that's unexpected. But had we been able to have an attorney review it, you guys think in a totally different way than what we would think, and you have more experience in it. Those are some things, because when your answer, I hadn't even thought about that, because I was thinking, oh God, does insurance cover that? I wouldn't have even thought that include something like that in a contract to help cover yourself. So great question. Team, we have to have people, we have to have legal counsel on our team. We have to have the ability to be able to get real life answers to questions before they happen. So with that, can you guys tell us, like, what are the top 3 mistakes that you see business owners, whether it's nonprofit, for-profit, or churches, make prior to going in business, or like when they come into your office and, like me, we've been doing this willy-nilly. What are the top 3 things that you see that are mistakes that they probably could have saved themselves some money, avoided some headaches, had they just come to see an attorney beforehand?
I think it's kind of what you already hit on, Nikki. It's just a preventative side of law. That's one of our biggest proponents. That's our platform, is that we want to help take care of you before a problem happens, right? So then it's not afterwards that you're trying to scramble to fix something. So a lot of time, the biggest mistake that we see is that a lot of small businesses, unfortunately, especially Black small businesses, don't get legal counsel involved until there's a problem, right? That's the wrong approach, because at that point, we're talking about you spending a lot more money to remedy a problem that we could have had on the front end and prevented from happening. And so I think that is the biggest mistake that I think we see often, is not getting a good legal team in place before there's an event.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another one is failure to delegate. This is not necessarily a legal advice, but one thing that my partner and I were talking about before we got on live with you all was, sometimes there's marketing issues. You don't know how to market. If you haven't been on Facebook in 10 years, since it first came out, then you should hire someone. Yeah. If you don't know how to create a flyer, it's okay. Go on Fiverr.com, spend $5 to $10 and get somebody else to do it. It's okay. So many people, so many business owners feel the need to do absolutely everything, in my humble opinion, and it doesn't work out for them. Sacrifice a little bit of money at the beginning to look and feel professional, so that on the back end, you're making more money. It exponentially will grow your company to delegate at the beginning. And I can't stress that enough. So many of us want a nickel and dime and pinch and say, okay, well, if you're baking cookies for a living and you try to save that money for your flour, then you're unable to market to where you can buy more flour because you made more money. It's just common sense, but we get hard charged. So I'm going to bake the cookies. I'm going to do this flyer with flour on my hand, on my computer, that I'm about to mess up because I have egg in my fingernail. I just feel like you're doing too much. Just delegate. It's okay. So delegation is number 1. And then we like to bring up LegalZoom. You already brought it up, Ms. Molly, and we appreciate you bringing up LegalZoom, because believe it or not, LegalZoom brings us money. They are not. They're not. We're like, oh, just bring the LegalZoom binder. We'll look through it. We have seen people, their name was misspelled. Just common thing. LegalZoom is great for blanket. Don't get me wrong. If you are just starting out and you're like, Ebony, the real deal is I cannot spend $1,500 on a nonprofit, bylaws, your advice, everything like that. Got it. If you just want somebody to one and done you, that is fine. This is my advice to small business owners, nonprofit leaders, and church leaders. When you start picking up speed and you start feeling like more people are coming on the bandwagon, things are starting to happen, money starting to be made, okay, call us. Because that's when normally, Biggie said it back, wasn't it, Biggie? Yeah, wouldn't that be okay? More money, more problems. I was like, it wasn't pot. Okay. The real deal is the more money you have, the more money you come into contact with. You might not even have the money, but once you start becoming, rubbing arms and shoulders with people who have more money, that's when you need to get us involved, because then you need contracts that are drafted that are unique to you and that are beneficial to your side of the deal. Then you need somebody to review the contract that's being emailed to you that you have no idea what's happening, but you're so excited. So then you just sign on the dotted line because you're like, oh my gosh, it's my first contract. I don't care. You said I get $10,000. But yeah, only if you do A, B, C, D, E, and F in this fine print right here, and you only did A, B, C, and D. And so now they're taking 8,000 of the dollars and you only get 2. Like, you just need somebody to be there for you and be your advocate and also help you see those things that you're not going to regularly see. So those are our 3. I think I said only 2, but maybe I said 5 things. But those are our 3.
Excellent guidance, because you're absolutely right. The big thing is, as small business owners, entrepreneurs, a lot of times you feel like you have to wear all these hats. And I hear it all the time from entrepreneurs like, oh, I'm wearing all these hats. Well, take off some daggone hats and give them to somebody, area that you're not strongest in. That is tremendous guidance right there. And the other thing I was going to ask you, because you mentioned about, starting to have your contracts looked at, and obviously having an attorney on your team is critical. What if you're in that phase of starting to build relationships with other vendors that have that expertise, maybe a marketing expert, and you're building widgets over here, and you just want to share your business model or how you're doing your thing with this person so they understand how to market your business? Should a NDA be put in place at this point, a non-disclosure agreement? Like, what is a good time from that standpoint if you're starting to reach out to these other experts in various areas, and how much should you share without having some type of an agreement in place?
So I want to make sure I understand your question. So you're saying, like, when it comes to trade secrets, or you have something really that you want to protect, intellectual property that you want to protect, when is the point where you start getting agreements in place to protect that information?
Yes. Like, for example, you mentioned having somebody do your marketing if you're not strong in marketing. Well, I want to explain to this person, hey, I have this product, this service, this thing. It needs to be marketed a certain way. You're starting to disclose some of the uniqueness of that service or product. So is that the time to have an NDA? Do you do it later? Should you have done it already? Like, when is the best time to have a non-disclosure agreement done?
I want to preface what I'm going to say with, contracts don't matter until they matter, right? An NDA is not going to matter until you got to go to court. It's just a piece of paper until then, right? Like, nobody cares. But I will say that for purposes of, if you have to go to an attorney for an NDA, there is blanket language for NDAs. So if you're early on, you can get some blanket language and just draft it up where it says, you're not going to disclose what I tell you. If you do, I'll take you to court. Make sure in the event that you do that, that you cover venue. That would be my biggest advice and the biggest downfall that the biggest mistake that I'll see in contracts from small business owners that they'll get that paragraph offline that says non-disclosure agreement, this is what it is, but then it doesn't say where they can sue you. So then your behind is in Colorado being sued because you didn't address venue in your contract. So if nothing else, make sure that you address venue, make sure that you address what happens when you have to sue them. Make sure you also address attorney's fees. In the event I have to sue you because your behind went and told my secret, I want my attorney's fees because I shouldn't have had to do that. So whatever party wins, that party gets also awarded attorney's fees. That would be my advice, to start early on. Now, when you start making money, again, you start rubbing shoulders, we start making some money, being in contact with millionaires or thousandaires for some of us. But when you start making a little bit more money, I definitely recommend, why don't you just bring your NDA? And normally, like us, most attorneys charge a different fee for review and for drafting. So it's 2 different things. So you can have been using your NDA that nobody cares about because you haven't had to sue anybody and nobody has had to sue you. You can come bring it to an attorney and be like, hey, can you review that to make sure it's legally sufficient for me? And we're going to charge you a different price than if you don't bring anything at all. Now, I'm not saying go ahead and draft something, but what I'm saying is in the event that you absolutely need something, which is most of the time whenever you coming into contact with somebody professionally and y'all are about to engage in a contract together, or an agreement together. In the event you do that, you want to put something in writing. And if I have to follow my sword, just please put it in writing. Please just.
And I think just to kind of piggyback off of that, a lot of times, again, especially within the Black community, we don't believe we need to put things in writing. We do deals with friends and family members, and then we find ourselves in a lurch because we just thought they were going to do us right. And businesses fail and suffer because of that, right? Because we thought Pookie and them were going to do our website like they said. It was always Pookie was going to do our website. His name could be Travis or whatever it is. Whatever it is, nothing's in writing, right? And so you entrust your business to someone just because you have a relationship. And so a best practice, again, is to get everything in writing.
And I think sometimes we get nervous with having that conversation with somebody. You know, nobody wants to have that conversation before they're going to marry somebody saying, can you sign here and date there on this prenup?
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to have that conversation. What I'd say to that is if you're watching this, just tell them, oh, my lawyer Ebony said that I have to get you to sign it. Now you're gonna be lying if you haven't retained us. But
That's good advice, though.
That is great advice.
Services we offer. Our general counsel packages that we offer to be your concierge. So we offer to be the bad guy, the go-between, to make those things happen. So you don't even have to have that conversation if you're not comfortable. We'll have that conversation, produce the documents, have them come in and sign and do all of that business for you.
We have a client that'll call us and he is just outraged. How dare they do blah, 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 blah. And I'm so grateful he's hired us, because when I call and I have my reasonable tone and I'm joking and I'm like, everybody's relaxed, I'm able to come with a different energy and able to get goals accomplished. Whereas his energy can be a bit much and he's unable, a little bit abrasive, and he may not be able to get the same point across in the same amount of time. So I think not another shameless plug of why it's so important to hire somebody, a neutral party that can come and advocate for you.
I mean, that's I wouldn't necessarily call it a shameless plug, but it's spot on, because I would probably be that abrasive person if I'm upset. Like, my husband tells me I'm not at all responsible for the things that come out of my mouth when I'm mad. He's on here right now asking for an NDA agreement. That is my husband in the comments. You need an NDA. You don't get no NDA. It's too late. We've been married too long. You should have asked for that in 1991. We've been good since.
Then the court's closed right now, brother. You messed up, bro.
But I mean, that's a really good. I forgot to even mention that in the beginning, that you guys have some wonderful packages, and I think thank you for bringing that up. So when I first heard about you guys, I was given one of your brochures that talks about your package. And so the first thing that I thought about was Legal Shield. And I had been a member of Legal Shield since it was, what was it called back then? Lord, it's been a long time.
Prepaid legal. I think it was prepaid legal.
Prepaid legal. And I didn't have an issue with them. They did some really great things for us over the years, but that was the first thing that I thought about. But then what attracted me was I could actually sit in your office and talk to you. Versus having to wait on the phone call and the call back. And this is not at all me saying that Legal Shield is bad. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is I like personable service. And so being able to get that same personable service for the same price. And if I calculated it out right, sometimes a different lower price, depending on the packages that you choose. I can't do that with a bank. Just because you need legal counsel does not mean it has to break the bank. It doesn't mean that, you got to go out and mortgage your children and, sell vital organs. That's not what it means. And the biggest hurdle, people, is call in and have the conversation before you determine within yourself that it's not something that I can afford right now, because you could very well be surprised at the fact of how affordable it is upfront and how much money it will save you, as they said, on the back end. So if you guys are comfortable with that, could you tell us about some of your different packages and how it benefits the business at each growth stage of the business?
Awesome, thank you. So one of the things I do want to mirror is that this is the time we offer free 30-minute consultations, right? So this is the time, if you're unsure about whether you can afford legal services, whether we have what you need, this is the time to make those appointments so we can discuss it to determine if there is a need that we can meet. Our general counsel plans are really geared towards wanting to build relationships with our clients within our community and not having to nickel and dime people who are trying to do and succeed at their business. And so when you, for example, decide you want to form a business, if you were to come to us just to do a formation, that would cost, for example, $750, right? And then let's say you decide you want to do a trademark, that's another $550. And so over time, these are all valuable services that we would encourage you to purchase and use. But when you have a general counsel plan that includes drafting and editing and reviewing, those things you don't have to pay for individually. You make either an annual payment or you pay quarterly. We've also begun offering monthly for those that need monthly payments. And so you can take the price of 2 services that we offer, and that would actually be what you would pay for an entire quarter, right? For some packages, and there would be unlimited access to us. And so when you think about being able to have an attorney on call, you can call at any time with a question, and you get priority over other clients that we have. And that's all included as part of your package. So we have 3 main packages. You have your ambition, which is going to be your starter package. That's for someone that maybe just starting out in business. They don't have a lot of contracts that need to be drafted, maybe just a couple of things that need to be reviewed. It's going to include the formation of their business and things of that nature. That's a great place to start. And that's the plan that specifically for the cost of 2 services, you could get basically a whole quarter. Then you're going to move up to your next plan, which is going to be your achiever. This is someone that's got a little bit more skin in the game, probably interacting, has a few more contracts and things to review, maybe some more things that need to be drafted. All of the plans include a discount on additional services that are offered. And so that would be kind of your next step up. And then the alliance, which is the one that most of our businesses choose, is unlimited access to us, unlimited drafting, unlimited document review. And so basically everything that your business could need, representation with the TWC, the formation of 2 businesses, I believe. And it's all broken down into quarterly payments. And so when you think of like having a legal team and it being super expensive, it's really this kind of elusive idea out there. But when you sit down and actually see all the things that can be offered to you for a really reasonable price, it makes it something that you feel like is within your grasp. And I think it gives our business confidence.
Yeah. What we have done has set ourselves apart. I mirrored this general counsel plan or package by somebody that I found in Oklahoma. So it's not like you're going to find this at every single business law firm in Texas, or even very few of them. And it's not just because we're Black, just any law firm, period. You're probably not going to find these general counsel services. And what also makes them unique is that we pretty much provide what you would find at a large industry or a company like Google, Apple, those type of Starbucks, those type of companies all have attorneys that sit in their offices at their headquarters. But we're saying we don't need an office at your space, but we want to be there for you and support you 100% of the way. You need to use our services by saying, hey, I got this new contract. Hey, I got this new issue. Hey, somebody called in about this. If you don't interact with us, it's not going to be a good use of your money. So I would dare say, when you're ready, for the ambition, it's normally our ambition customers, our clients are the people who were already ambitious, already go-getters before they even started their business. Those are the people who were in the military and got ranked real quick. And so they come out, they're ready. They're like, look, I'm ready to start business. Where do I sign? Those are those clients for us. For the achiever and the alliance, it's not, I don't believe our market are people who are comfortable where they're at. It's for the people that's like, look, I have a vision of greater, better, more, and I need help getting there. And so then they hire us to come on board so that we can help them achieve their goals much faster. They're like, yes, all of our clients are smart, right? Because it's smart to hire us. But so they could sit down and they could draft something, right? They could sit down, they could research things. But they're so smart, they're saying, nope, I want to hire you to research, to draft, to negotiate, to do this so that I can focus on my transportation company, focus on my audio company, focus on my whatever it is, my school, whatever it is that our clients are doing, they get to focus on that while we focus on the paperwork and the administration and the human resources portion of it for them. We help them out in that way.
Very nice. I love it. I love it. So is there a website that we can send people to? I know there's a phone number for sure, but is there a website people can go to visit this information?
So our website is currently being redone, but it's www.jtlattorneys.com. I would dare say it would be best for you to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at JTL Attorneys. We also have a Twitter. We have a LinkedIn that is being currently refurbished, but namely Twitter, namely Facebook and Instagram, JTL Attorneys.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm putting that in the comments.
We're using this time to social media and get everything on the same page, and so it's getting updated.
And you said JTL Attorneys on Instagram? Got you.
Yeah.
I just followed you. Y'all better follow me back now. Follow me back.
All right.
Good stuff. This is awesome. Excellent, excellent. So you're more than attorneys. You're helping people build their businesses, grow their businesses, scale their businesses, build empires. Absolutely. I love that. Both Laquita and I are always talking about, real estate and the importance of investing in real estate for generational wealth building. Well, it really is ownership, period. It's not just real estate. If you own business, then you're building something that your family can now depend on when you're gone, and hopefully build it successfully and stable from the beginning. And these young ladies are absolutely proven to help people get on the right track. So I love that you are offering these packages, Ambition, Achiever, and Alliance. I love it. That's a beautiful way to advertise your legal services and for people to jump in and get more than what they're actually paying for. So excellent job on your end.
Yes,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much. We did want to put one more point out there because you brought up real estate. If you're a real estate mogul, if you have lots of properties, we want you to consider series LLCs. And I don't know how many of your viewers are have LLCs and they have properties within them. Series LLCs is something that's fairly new in Texas, and it allows our property owners to have multiple properties under different LLCs. So if property A is sued or liable for something, they can't come after property B. So it makes everything clear, but you only have to go once to the Secretary of State's office to file for a certificate of formation for a company, as opposed to if you have different LLCs for each property, you have to go to the Secretary of State for each one of those properties, $300, $300, $300. Now they created the series, so you go once, and then your attorneys here create series for you for each property and split the liability for each one. So because you brought up that y'all push out a lot of real estate information, we assume that a lot of real estate moguls are following you, and we want to make sure that
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you saying that, because I was on. So now I have a piggyback question. So if you already have an LLC, you can add it to this series LLC.
If you have an LLC, you can amend your certificate of formation, and there's a specific language for series now. Again, this is something that I would get an attorney involved in now. I'm not going to keep on raising my hand.
I know that's right.
If you have an LLC and you want to become a series LLC, there is a way to amend it.
Gotcha.
Yes,
Okay.
That's
Excellent guidance.
That is a great question, because we do put that advice out to all of our real estate investors that do follow us, that it is best practice to develop a new LLC for each property purchase so that they can be separate for what you said. So thank you so much for saying that about the Series LLC here in Texas. It is much more affordable to do that than having to pay that $350 a pop for every LLC that you create for each one of your entities.
exactly.
Awesome. Wow. This hour flew by like really, really fast. There was so much great information that you guys gave. We definitely appreciate you guys coming on, and preferably we'll be able to bring you back on again real soon. I think it would be great to have them and Dina on at the same time, if we can make it like that. Miss Adina Collins, she's out of the Dallas area there with Vic, and she's a financial planner, and she gives an excellent service to businesses as well. And your financial planner, your bookkeeper, your money person should be working closely with your legal person to make sure that those things are coming together well, so that the goal is, at the end of the day, limiting your tax liability while also remaining legal and making more money, right?
Right. That's it. That's
awesome.
it.
Awesome. So do you guys have any last things that that you would like to say before we close out today?
Well, honestly, to thank you guys. Thank you so much for thinking enough of us to have us on your platform. We are very honored.
Oh, thank
No
you.
problem. Thank you. You provided much more value than we did. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Legal advice. The people who follow us, business owners, know that it's necessary. Sometimes, like you said, we like to put it off and pinch pennies. That can come back to bite you and cost you more. But to know that we have a great legal team here in Killeen that can answer our questions and become a part of our team at a price that we can afford is absolutely great, and be able to provide that concierge service. That's excellent. So if you're in Killeen, Temple, Harker Heights, Belton, Nolanville, any of the Central Texas area, shout them out, give them a call. If you're not in Central Texas, I don't care whether you're in East Texas, North Texas, South Texas, if you are in Texas,
we practice
them in Texas. Follow them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, get on LinkedIn. The phone number is in the comments. Reach out to them. They will be more than happy to assist you. And I promise you, it won't be something that you'll ever regret.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Anything else from you, Vic?
That's it. I'm good. I appreciate the information. And I'll probably be one calling you about this Series LLC. So, yeah.
Don't waste your time, Mr. Vic. Don't waste your time.
Nice. Cool. No, I'm good, Laquita.
You're good? Okay.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing y'all again soon.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you, ladies. We really appreciate you coming on.
This is Vic and Laquita on Create Your Future Self Live. Thank you, everyone, for watching this special edition with the wonderful ladies from Jackson Todd and Lambert law firm here in Killeen, Texas. If you're following our page, you'll also be able to find this link to YouTube. So if you need to go back and watch it again, the YouTube link is out there. If you're watching us live on Facebook and you say, hey, I missed your number, I missed the Instagram and the Facebook, go back to the comments. Their contact information is there. Phone number, Instagram, and Facebook contact is there. But until next time, this is Vic and Laquita. You guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Later.
Take care.